Hey there. Hello, how do you do? My name is Harry Wessel. Thanks for coming. It's the 80s, darling. Yes, it is. It is. April 1985, late in the month. It's a chilly Tuesday night. It was another late night of drinking. Well, actually, every night was late. I didn't get home from the cat's winter garden until around 11 o'clock at night, and then I would hang around the apartment for a little while. I'd get fucked up, and I'd smoke some dope, and I'd drink some beer, and I'd smoke some reefer, and I'd listen to some music, and I'd smoke some pot, and I'd hang around. Then I eventually get cleaned up to get ready to go out and start the evening's frolics at around 1 o'clock in the morning. Yes. Well, so it was another typical night of going to bars and being in my 20s. Yes, I went to Cafe Central, the place where the great and the near great go to get drunk, and the near great and the less great go to watch. Yes, Carp had been dragging me there every now and then. And so I was there with Carp, my old drinking buddy, and he seemed to be on the make again. Yeah, as usual. Yeah, he was always on the make. I wasn't on the make. I wasn't. I was just kind of slutty. I mean, if some delusional girl ever smiled at me, that was it. I was smitten. I would sort of belong to her. I couldn't help it. I've got low self-esteem. Any positive attention at all on any level is a gargantuan aphrodisiac. So I would just hang around drinking and see what happens. Yes, I mean, there are a lot of young people there, and many of us are there in the first place because we are a little bit slutty. Now, we're not necessarily on the make, but we will take advantage of those who are. Yes, so there's one particular chilly night in late April. I literally bumped into a beautiful young woman with curly brown hair. Bump! I said, beg your pardon, excuse me. And she said, stopped, and she said, hi! And she smiled at me. And that was it. I was smitten. I'm like the cheerleader with the football star in the crummy drive-in movie from the 1950s. I'm like, I'll be your girlfriend if you want. So she says, hi. My name's DeEtte. I said, DeEtte? That's a beautiful name. I've never heard that name. She said, thanks. I said, hi, I'm Harry. She said, hi. Oh, she was fantastic. She had beautiful curly brown hair and soft, rosy, sort of glowing, slightly freckled complexion. She had light brown eyes under wire-rimmed glasses. Oh, and she and I were just about exactly the same height. All four of our eyes were on eye level with each other. Yes, as we stood and talked. It was fantastic. I thought she was sharp and smart and funny. Yes. So, somehow, before I knew it, DeEtte and I were outside, standing in a doorway, making out. Yes, we were smooching and kissing and making out, and I was making out with a beautiful woman named DeEtte, and her kisses tasted a little bit like cigarettes. It was fantastic. Yes. And before things got to be a little bit too hot and heavy, which they were sort of getting to be, we decided to break from the makeout session and go back into the bar restaurant to go back into the bar restaurant to have another cigarette. Yes. It's the 80s, darling. Yes. And of course, another drink. What fun. So we were having a fantastic date together. We were just very animated, and we were just chatting away and invading each other's personal space, and she was just so delightful. We were giddy with each other. We were infatuated. We were, and so eventually she was telling me about how she goes to NYU and she's in studying biology or something like that. Something about tree bark, something to do with tree bark. She said, which she said is not the same as it used to be. She said because she said the world, the planet Earth, is changing for the worse. She said because she said of greenhouse gases. She said this in 1985. Yes. Well, before the evening ended, we had another makeout session out in the doorway, and I gave her my number, and we kissed goodnight. I walked home on a series of clouds. It was fantastic. Maybe I've got a new girlfriend. So, it's the next night, and I went back to Cafe Central, back to the same place, and around the same time to see if I could run into my new possible girlfriend. Yes. And I made a couple of rounds in the bar, and you make another round in the bar, and you see that, no, she's not there. And I'm like, oh, well, I got an idea, though. Yes, I'll have some drinks anyway. So I got a shot of Old Bushmills, boom, and I got a Rolling Rock beer in a bottle. Yeah. And I was standing around in the bar, reminiscing about last night. I was saying, it was just about this very time, that we met. And it's just on this very spot in the bar that we met. And at that point, a beautiful young woman with long, dark blonde hair walks by holding her drink just so. She looked like some sort of royalty from the Netherlands who was incognito as an interior decorator or something like that. And she had a sharp gray suit, impeccable. So as she walked by, I said, "Sharp suit." She stopped. She said, "Thanks." And I said, "Very elegant, yes." She said, "Thanks, hi." And that was it. I was smitten. She said, "Hi, my name's DeEtte." I said, "DeEtte? That's a beautiful name. I love the name DeEtte." I said I didn't want to lie to her and say I had never heard the name DeEtte before, because now I know two girls named DeEtte. Anyhow, I say I love the name DeEtte. And she said, "Thanks." I said, "My name's Harry." Anyhow, she was fantastically beautiful with these light blue eyes, and she was impeccably dressed, and we were chatting away, and before I knew it, we were outside together, standing in a doorway, making out. Yes, I was making out with a woman named DeEtte. Yes. Now I've forgotten all about DeEtte the first. All I want to do is make out with DeEtte the second. So, and her kisses taste a little bit like cigarettes. It was just fantastic. I know. And so before things got to be a little too hot and heavy, because we were starting to grope each other, we decided to go back into the cigarette and we decided to go back into the bar and have another cigarette. Yes. And another drink. Yes. What fun. What surrealistic fun. Yes, I will admit a certain amount of coincidence. Yes, same bar, same time, same doorway, same taste, same name. DeEtte. The name DeEtte. And not a common name. I had never met someone named DeEtte. And now, as it turned out, every woman named DeEtte I've ever met, I've kissed. Yes. Well, we finished up the evening. Oh, she was telling me where she worked. Thank heaven she didn't work at NYU, wasn't going to NYU and studying tree bark. She did, I would have fainted. As it turns out, she's the assistant to the assistant for a huge, world famous designer lady. This huge, world famous designer lady is someone I had never heard of. Her name was Lorna Spumoni or something. Like I said, I never heard of who she was. And so DeEtte asked me, and so are you familiar with Lorna Spumoni's work? And I said, no, who's that? Which didn't go over too well at all. Apparently, I'm culturally illiterate. Yeah, she didn't have to say it in so many words. I could see it in her face. I know. But that went away relatively soon. And eventually we were and eventually we were outside again, smooching some more. Yes. Anyhow, I made sure to get her number before the end of the evening. So she gave me her number and a big smooch and a great big smile. Oh, a dazzling smile, chiclets for teeth. She was just fantastic. And she said, it was so nice meeting you. Yes. I walked home on a different set of similar clouds. Maybe two's the charm. Maybe I've got a new girlfriend this time. So it's the next day. I had her number, and so I called her. Yes, I did. And we made a date. We made a date for the following Sunday. We both had Sunday night off, and we were going to go to see a movie and go get something to eat. The classic date, dinner and a movie. Fantastic. So we met over at the theater on East 68th Street, and we were going to see the movie The Gods Must Be Crazy, directed by Jamie Uys. Uys it's spelled. I'm not sure how you exactly say it. Anyhow, we got there early. We got there about a half an hour before the show. So we decided to take a little walk. We got our tickets and we took a little walk. Halfway down the block, there was a brownstone that had the staircase, and it had a little wall on either side of the staircase, so that if you sat down on the staircase, you had a certain amount of privacy so that you could sit and osculate. Yes. So we sat down on these steps and we made out for around 20 minutes, just making out and smooching and kissing. It was fantastic. And before things got a little too hot and heavy, and we realized we got to get back to the movie theater if we want to have one more cigarette before we go in, and that's what we did. So we walked back to the theater, had a smoke, and then we went on in and saw the movie. All right. The movie is lovely. It's a delightful movie, and I can highly recommend The Gods Must Be Crazy. Yes. Anyhow, after the movie was over, during the part of the conversation, the endless part of the conversation, as it seems, is to be, where do you want to eat? And I suggested that we go to the Mocha, the Hungarian restaurant right across the street from Vino Veritas. Well, where Vino Veritas used to be, yes. And she said, and I said it was a Hungarian place. She said she loved that idea. She'd never had Hungarian food, and she was very excited about trying something new. Yes, this is going to be fantastic. I was delighted. So we took a cab up to the booze store right across the street, right across 3rd Avenue from the booze store, and the cab stopped right there in the Doris Day spot, and we got out in front of the Mocha restaurant, and the cab drove away. Then I looked across the street, and I saw the new home of the New York Paint Fair. Then I looked at it as hard as I could so I could look at it and burn my eyes into the past. And I saw the ghost of the booze store, Vino Veritas Wines and Spirits. Yes, and I looked as hard as I could into the front window, and I saw the ghosts, the joyous ghosts of Michael and Gregory and me and Francine and, of course, the real ghost, Margie. And I saw us all sitting in the front room and standing in the front room of the booze store, having a good time together. We were all laughing. We all looked fantastic. Like I said before, it was glory days, and we did not even know that it was glory days when it was. All right. Please, if you've ever seen The Gods Must Be Crazy, comment yes, and also like and subscribe and share this out. Right. Um, I look forward to telling you what happens at the Mocha restaurant next time. Yes. All right. Thanks for coming, and I'll see you again. Yes.